has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall Coast to Coast in the biggest way possible right here on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have you with us on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty. We'll get Joe in here in a moment. We got a very busy show today. Of course, more NBA and NHL playoff action coming up tonight. We got a lot of afternoon baseball that we are going to get to. Heavy guest list, of course, because what is it? It's Golf Wednesdays on C2C. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at what we have going on here. Gabe Morency is with us, as always, in the first hour. Brady Cannon will help me get ready for LIV in Singapore this weekend. We've got Dave Aragona from the Daily Racing Forum getting ready for the Derby coming up this week. Cam Stewart with the picks for the Byron Nelson. We've got Coach Young, Davis Maddock, Keith Stewart from Read the Line with his picks on a Golf Wednesday for the CJ Cup Byron Nelson down in Texas. So a lot to do today, no question about that. Mike Carver with you, of course, and the encyclopedia of college football. The one, the only. Go for the two, Joe Lisi on a Wednesday. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Hi, Carver. You should be calling me the encyclopedia of NBA basketball. We swept the board last night. Him, dog fest. The dogs were barking. Ruh, ruh, ruh. And how about Gorgiev with the goalie saves last night? We nailed it.
What's his
30
name?
plus. I put this kid on the map. He had 32 in the blowout win.
You put him on the map. You put Gorgiev on the map last night with the saves. What are you at, 34, 35?
32. I was starting to get nervous because first period, I think he had like 10, not even. I'm like, this guy is gutless. He can't even save anything.
Well, then it's not his fault. First of all, it's gutless. It's a matter of how many shots they throw at him, Joe.
Yeah,
if the team is allowing any shots, that's got nothing to do with him.
No, that's not true. No, he wasn't stretching enough. The butterfly, he could get that pad. He could get that blocker out there a little bit more. As long as it's on goal, Carver, it counts. Doesn't have to be within the crease or the cylinder, I like to say.
I'm well aware.
Got to use the butterfly. I love Patrick Waugh
in the NHL. I'm aware, Joe, of how the shots on goal are maintained in the league over my lifetime.
He killed it last night. Killed it.
You did. You were eating fat. There's no question about that. It was a dog night for you in the NBA. Sixers, Magic, Bucks. You had it all rolling. The only guy that really left you at the table was Brook Lopez, who did nothing. I told you Portis. Portis was the guy that we should have went to in that Buck game. He took care of business. The hockey, I told you 2 out of the 4 would keep the series going. I picked the wrong 2. I thought for the Islanders and the Jets that would keep the series going. But we did at least get 2 of the 4 series to continue on, Joe, because we need that because we want more hockey the next couple of days. So that was very helpful.
No, whenever the hockey gets to like Game 6 and you could steal it, make it 3-3, then that's what I love. Game 7, chips in the middle of the table. You got playoff hockey, kick it up. Buckle up a notch, and I love to see it. So hopefully we get to play out, but we do need the Stars to jump up 3-2 on the Vegas Knights tonight.
We do need the Stars to do that. We will discuss it. And like you said, you like that pressure. Toronto and Nashville will now go home down 3-2 in a Game 6 with a chance to really put some pressure. And don't forget this about Boston either. They blew 3-1 last year in the first round, Joe. The Boston Bruins did. So that will get in their heads if they ever lost a 6th game up in Toronto tomorrow night. So it's definitely something to keep our eyes on, that's for sure. We have a lot of afternoon baseball today. We have several games that we have to get to. I will tell you, Joe, the Tigers lead the Cardinals 3-1 right now. That is in the top of the 8th inning at Comerica. As Vierling had a homer for the Tigers early on, that has held up. 3-1, Contreras homered for the Cards. 4-0 Brewers lead the Rays, bottom of the 7th in Milwaukee. Rays have had all kinds of problems scoring runs the last couple days. Willie Adames homered again for Milwaukee. Had a homer last night, too. White Sox lead the Twins 3-1, top of the fourth in Chicago. So the White Sox and their sparkling 6-24 record so far this year, Joe, have a 3-1 lead early on. You want to pick up the Twins live, Joe? Want to get in on the Twins down 3-1 in Chicago? Little day ball at plus 130? Plus 130 live?
No, because I did put in some baseball. I altered it.
Well,
and the game coming up around right now, that Toronto game, could be a crypto catalytic converter play of the year.
Oh,
boy. For
May. I can't wait for this. So they're about to throw first pitch in about a minute or two in Toronto between the Royals and the Blue Jays, where you are going to get, of course, Seth Lugo and the Basset Hound going today. Minus 145 for Toronto, plus $1.20 for Kansas City, and a flat 8. So give it to me, Joe. What's the catalytic converter crypto play for this game?
Smash special. The cryptos are rallying as we speak. Let's go up, 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 and away over the 8.5. Let's alter to 10.5 at plus money, plus 186, plus 196. Shop around him, and a little big bad Vlad. You want to go 2 total bases and 2 ribbies? You want to sprinkle in a little Bo Bichette? I think the Toronto Blue Jays get the total on their own, Carver.
Wow, big day for the Blue Jays you're predicting there. Okay, we shall see what happens with that. We have a few games that are going to start within the next hour or so. First, the Pirates are going to try to get a game in Oakland. They've had a rough time there the last couple of nights. Quinn Priester against Ross Stripling is the pitching matchup there. They're going to start in about a half hour at the Dump. As of right now, pick 'em, Joe. Minus 110 both ways and a 7.5 total. The Pirates got to get one game in Oakland, Joe, don't they? Got to get one game out there.
I don't know. You ever see like matchups with 2 garbage teams? If a team is losing to another team, maybe they just don't match up well. I'm going to take the Athletics. Can we get up over that 8, though? You think we can get over that 8?
No.
I mean, or is it getaway day?
It's getaway day, especially in a place like that. There's just there's going to be no juice in the ballpark. There's going to be just nothing happening.
2 people and a couple of cigarettes.
That's an under,
2 people and a couple of cigarettes and a wrapper in the corner.
That's probably what will happen. The Mariners are actually going for the sweep as well at home, Joe. They've gotten the Braves the last couple of nights. Chris Sale and Emerson Hancock are the starters this afternoon in the Pacific Northwest. Braves minus 185, Mariners plus $1.50. Another 7.5 for you in the afternoon.
Now, I was wrong on this total last night. They dangled now another 7.5. We talked about Seattle being one of the worst teams to the over. I forget what their record was. Today is the day, Carver. They're giving us plus money. I think plus 105, even money, depending upon where you shop around. Let's go 9.5 alt. I think Atlanta could get 6. We get 4 by the Mariners, 6-4 final, and we get it all. The whole kit and caboodle.
It would be nice to see some runs there. There has not been many scored. They don't have. I don't think they have 9 runs combined, Joe, over the first couple days. In fact, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 runs over the first 2 nights for those two. We'll see if they can get over the alt for you. The Phillies will close out a series in Anaheim against the Angels. Zach Wheeler and Patrick Sandoval. Phillies minus 225, plus $1.80 for the Angels, and a flat 8 here.
Well, what did I tell you yesterday? Now that Trout is done and they say his time frame is not the regular season. No timetable, but he's coming back before the end of the regular season. So like September 6th, he'll be back, which means the Angels are going to fall off the cliff. Can we sell their win total now? Whatever total it is, just sell. They got pounded by the Phillies today.
They're going to sell it. And finally, the Reds and the Padres are going to be out at Petco today. Ashcraft and Musgrove, the starters there, minus 145 for the Pods. And another 7.5. This one will go over, Joe. Let's go over on this one. Cincinnati and San Diego. Yeah. They went over last night, 6-4. We'll try to get it in there. All right, Ferrall, Coast to Coast. We're just getting going on a Wednesday. Carver, Ryan, Joe for Scotty. We're back after this.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long-term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that have been there a couple of years and then go get the high-profile recruit and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, what's up? You watching the game? Or maybe the one later? Put a little BetMGM action on it, and now any game becomes the game. When you got overs and unders, you're in it every time they throw the ball, kick the ball, dribble the ball. Maybe it's not even a ball. Who needs a ball? Now that bet's got you watching every inning, half, round, period, set, hole, a lap. Right from the edge of your seat. Hit him with the promo.
And we are back from coast to coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid at SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Gabe Morency's with us every day on C2C. Of course, Sports Rage Late Night, weeknights, 10 p.m. East, right here on the grid. Gabe, good to see you as always. Me and you were talking about this hockey yesterday, and I said, I feel like 2 out of the 4 teams were going to keep the series going. I picked the wrong 2 teams. I thought the Islanders and the Jets would be the 2 teams to keep the series going. But I'm just glad, Gabe, we did get at least 2 through, so we have some more games here in the first round.
It really is amazing how the Toronto Maple Leafs dug down deep last night and were able to get the win on the road against the Boston Bruins. Can they win at home, though, Carver? That's the big question with the Toronto Maple Leaf Hockey Club. They've actually lost 6 straight home playoff games. 6 straight home playoff games. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but, it's kind of hard to win a playoff series, isn't it, if you can't win at home, right? And especially if, you don't have home ice advantage, right? So you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and the position that they're in right now. They dug down deep. Can they get it done on their home ice? The Nashville Predators are another one where home ice, we see home ice, home court, home ice isn't anywhere what it used to be, guys, in the old days. It just isn't. Look at the Vancouver Canucks last night. Canucks lost on their home ice, and now they go back to Nashville, where the Nashville Predators have lost 5 straight home playoff games. So I don't know if it's a home ice advantage or a home ice disadvantage, Carver.
Yeah, it's amazing how you think about that because, and I feel like, Gabe, this changed a long time ago, right? It used to be so crucial to have home ice and having those pivotal game 5s and 7s in your building. It's like really doesn't matter anymore, to be quite honest with you. It really isn't as
until
big an
Game
advantage
7, I
in
think.
hockey.
I've heard a lot of
has
coaches say that.
problem.
They're like, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have the Game 7 at home.
Yeah.
But you know, and college is different. College is sort of the last beacon of home court, home field. Like college football, home field matters, point blank. It does.
Yes.
Right? Home court, college basketball, it matters. It still does. The NFL, a good example, guys. In the old days, and I'm saying old days, like forever, and you know this, everyone knows this, what would they say? You had 3 points for the home field, right? Be like, wow, 3 points, and I get it. Some places were a little bit more or less than others, but generally it was 3.5 points for a home field. Now odds makers add a point. Like literally, they add 1 point to a home field advantage because there really isn't any. But it was dramatic. It was heartbreaking. I mean, across the board last night, you look at the New York Knicks fans, the Garden. I mean, the roof was on fire. You know, the Knicks fans are ready to hit the streets and, you know, and take over and do all the videos and the chants and all that. And then Maxey sticks a dagger. And then you look at Vancouver, same thing. They haven't won a playoff series at home in forever, man. Right? I mean, the last time they won a playoff series, they were in the bubble. It's the first home playoff game in 9 years. They're about to win. It's a scoreless game. They break through. They're playing good. They score. They're up 1-0, and the wheels just fall off in the final moments. That's the playoffs, the roller coaster. I think it's more painful to be a fan than it is an athlete, actually, and a player.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And that Knick loss, which we'll get to maybe in the next break, it's like that kind of evened out that game the Sixers lost. Because the Sixers had a game they shouldn't have lost to New York also, that game number 2. So that kind of evens each other out over these long series. You mentioned home ice advantage. It hasn't mattered at all in Dallas and Vegas so far.
Once
as we
again.
get ready for Game 5 tonight.
Yeah, home teams are 0-4.
Road teams won every game in the series. And now Dallas, who everybody basically had finished after losing the first 2 games at home, they come back now with a fresh best of 3 with 2 games on their home ice. And now you have a goalie change for Vegas as well, as they're going to put Hill in there tonight.
I think that's the right move. Logan Thompson starting to struggle. He's a streaky goalie. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's not. You saw Dallas started to figure it out, how he spends so much time on his knees all the time. We're at the point in these series now where teams have figured out the goalies a bit too, right? You know, you saw with the Canucks. You know, Saros is a good goalie, Mike, but he's a short dude. He's a small dude, right? It's not a coincidence. The Canucks are shooting high, and they beat them high, and they got that goal. So, and listen, we saw Vegas last year use multiple goalies throughout the playoffs. You're going to have to. That's just the way it is in the modern era in the NHL. If you're going to ride one goalie, it's incredibly rare, and you're probably like a really good team that's not putting a ton of pressure on your goalie. But with that being stated tonight, I'm going to go with the home team, Mike. You know, something's got to break here at some point, right? This is like a tennis match where someone broke serve 4 times in a row. It's like, listen, you got to hold serve here, man. Like,
you have to.
Dallas got to go back to Vegas again. You got 3 cracks to get 2 wins. It has to start somewhere. You do it tonight. I think they win.
I think this is our 7-gamer. I think we're going to get 1 in the NHL first round. I think that this is it. And you're right. I think it flips here. Home team tonight, home team in Vegas in Game 6, and then we'll come back for a Game 7. Will Edmonton finish off the Kings tonight? I think they do, right? Do you see LA getting this thing back to the crypto?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think Edmonton do win. I was a little bit concerned about Vancouver last night. Like, I thought they were going to win, but at the same point in time, I warned people a lot about the pressure, Carver, of playing at home in a playoff game, knowing that, we could win the series tonight. You get a little excited. The Canucks haven't been in that spot before. The Edmonton Oilers have, at least. The Oilers have won a bunch of playoff series over the last couple of years. They get it. Yeah, I think they do show the killer instinct tonight. Quite frankly, they got dominated the other night, won the game, so they should play better tonight.
They should. We'll come back and we'll get into the hoops. Gabe Morency's with us, of course. We'll be back coast to coast on the grid right after this.
the 2024 Stanley Cup odds. The Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Gabe Morency's with us, of course, Sports Rage Late Night, weeknights at 10 p.m. East. All right, let's go to the hoops now, Gabe, where it was a dog night last night, right? You had two outrights with the Sixers and the Bucks. You had the Magic cover, a very close game with the Cavs. So the Dogs starting to bark. And like with the NHL, as we were saying, we got a couple of 3-1 series that got extended now into a sixth game, which is very helpful. And that Knicks-Sixers series has been the best of any of the NBA first-round series by far, Gabe.
And there's no league that's more predicated on television and than the NBA. Let's call it out for what it is. And I'm hard-pressed to believe that the Sixers don't send it to 7 because they would like nothing better than to get a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden, New York, Philadelphia. It sells itself. Tonight, listen, last night, the Orlando Magic, I took the Magic plus the points last night. They gave them all that they can handle. They covered the number. They hit a 3 late, so they were about to lose by 4, and they hit that 3 late. But I think this is another series that they're going to win. They're going to go back home. I think Orlando will win that game, and then we'll have a Game 7 there. Tonight with Miami and Boston, I think Boston do put the hammer down tonight. Boston are usually good for like one. They'll give you one, Mike. Like, you know what I'm saying? When they're playing a bad team, the Celtics will let up. Like, they did it during the regular season. I mean, they did it multiple times, like where they blew like 20-point leads against bad teams and stuff. So the Celtics will flake out every once in a while, but they're not going to do it multiple times. So I don't think there's another shocker coming tonight. It's a lot of points. I'm not saying the Celtics are going to cover, but so I'm not really in love with that game, but I do think Boston's going to get it done. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to buy into the Clippers tonight. This is a fun series, and there's no Kawhi Leonard, and I think actually that's probably better for them. Like, you know what I mean? They know he's not playing. He's not in the way. He's not 100%. He was a great player. Dude, the guy's 32 going on 92, okay? Like, his body's broken down, and Harden is balling. We talked about it. Harden is balling. Paul George is balling right now. I think Luka's going to go off tonight, though, Carver. Luka said I'm letting Kyrie Irving down. I've got to be better, which means, oh boy, like here he's
I
coming.
just watched him though. He did an interview at the shoot around about an hour ago, Gabe. I was just watching it in that last break. I'm sick. He's got the flu. If it was a regular season game, I wouldn't be playing. He's like going through all this stuff.
So they're setting up the excuse you're saying before the game.
He's setting it up nice for tonight, that he wouldn't have played if it was a regular game. And I feel so sick, and it's beating me up. And enough. That, like you said, he'll probably now set you up and go out there and do 35, 12, and 10 tonight against the Clippers. That's probably what he'll do tonight. Even sick.
Yeah, and you're right. The media will hype it up. Oh, he's got the flu. For the record, the Vancouver Canucks have the flu. I don't know. It's too bad. It is. No, I'm just telling you. It's true. Like they're not telling people. They're not using it as an excuse. But they have a flu outbreak. And I think that, I don't know what it is. It's the time of the year, I guess, Carver. I mean, so I believe them. Like, I believe Dallas are probably sick as well. There's probably dudes like, it's just weird, bad timing for this stuff to happen. But at the same point in time, bro, they're not like homeless people, all right? They have like doctors and dietitians around them, like that make like $2 million a year, bro. They're not on their own, like drinking a Gatorade. Like there's diets, like IVs, chambers, ice, this, that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of stuff that they can do for these dudes. But I just like the way the Clippers are balling. The thing with the Mavericks is, when they're fully clicking, I get it, but they're not a great defensive team. I know they have some rim protectors, but we're seeing they're giving up a lot of easy baskets right now. And even if Luka and Kyrie go off, the math doesn't really add up. I just think the Clippers can get it done. And I think this series goes 7-2, though, to be honest. So I think we have a lot of basketball.
I agree with you on the 7 for this series. I think that this will be we'll be back here for a Game 7, one way or the other. Between the Mavs and the Clippers. So there you go. Only 2 NBA tonight. Do you have any baseball, Gabe? We got 30 seconds. The Blue Jays are playing now.
Yeah, let's go.
Baseball tonight?
Yeah, let's play on the Blue Jays. Bassett's been pitching well. I like Yamamoto tonight. I know you like props. It's 5.5 is strikeouts. This guy's like an automatic 7 strikeout guy. Like just automatic 6, 7 strikeouts. It's only 5.5 tonight.
Hopefully they clear the bees out before the game, right? We don't have an hour and a half delay clearing the bees out.
I like that they had the beekeeper throw at the first pitch after. It was a good move.
That was pretty good. Gabe,
that's cool. You want to stay and throw the first pitch.
Late night, 10 p.m. East here on the Grid.
The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere. I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight
you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
And we are back from Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on Sports Grid and Sports Grid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. All right, Joe. First, BetMGM wants to let you know they got a great first bet offer for you. $1,500. What do you got to do? 4 easy steps. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created BetMGM Sportsbook account. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. If the bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. That is BetMGM's $1,500 first bet offer. Go and get it. All right, Joe, let's start to get into some of this stuff from last night. And we have to, of course, start with the Knicks and the Sixers. We've talked about this a lot. I think this has been the best first-round series in the NBA. I know it was 3-1. It's not 2-2 like maybe this Dallas Clippers. But every game, Joe, has had a lot of intensity to it. It feels like every game has had a little bit of doubt in it in the last 5 minutes of the game. And we've had a few, like last night, that really went down to the wire. And Tyrese Maxey, what a performance by him. So we'll set it up for you this way, Joe. Knicks are up 6 with 28 seconds left and the ball. Somehow, they don't win this basketball game. In fact, Joe, they go to overtime, and they end up getting cleaned out. That's because Tyrese Maxey went off. He had 46 points, including these 2 threes, the 2 biggest threes of the game. He gets fouled on the first one for a 4-point play, and then from the logo, Joe, to send it to overtime on TNT.
Trying to get to the finish line and wrap up this series. Maxey floats it up and in, plus the foul. 10 seconds left in game 5. Maxey fires! He's got it! Tie game! 8.1 to play.
They outscored him then 15-9 in the overtime, Joe, and it really wasn't even that close as they were able to pull away there. Maxey was excellent. I know Embiid gets a lot of the talk, and Maxey's, that was Maxey's first huge playoff moment, Joe. I mean, they tried to foul him too. I know they wanted to foul him, and McBride kind of got caught in that screen before he shot the logo 3 that tied the game. Impressive performance, and now they go back to Philadelphia 3-2.
Yeah, and this has reminiscent of the old Knicks Heat. Knicks, back in the day with Alonzo Mourning and Pat Ewing battling it out. I know it's different characters, but it is that, tri-state rivalry with Pennsylvania. That's what adds to this series, Carver, and the fact that Embiid wasn't 100%, he got fouled, made a couple of plays down the stretch, got some critical rebounds, was that presence in the middle really forced the Knicks' hand. But it comes down to free throws. The Knicks were on the line, I believe, in the final 28 seconds with a couple of chances to solidify it and ice it. Just got to make your free throws, man. That's simple. You got to have ice in your veins. You shoot 1 or 2 from the line down the stretch. It's not going to get it done. Stick a fork in New York. I'm a New York guy, but I picked the 76ers to win it. They win the next 2. They're done, the New York Knicks. Stick a fork in them in Thibodeau. Done. No shot.
No shot. Well, you had Anunoby miss 1 out of 2, Joe, with 59 seconds left. And then you had Josh Hart miss 1 out of 2 with 15 seconds left in the game. Of course, then they had the 3-pointer from Maxey right after Hart made the second one. So really, that could, that's so enormous, Joe. You think about that. That would have been a 4-point game when Maxey shot the logo 3 as opposed to a 3. We say it all the time. You've got to make your free throws at the end of these games.
These are college kids.
Well, college, they miss all the time. The college, the free throw shooting is abysmal in these big spots in the NCAA tournament. The NBA guys, obviously, they're the best of the best. But you do get nights like last night where 2 crucial misses in the final minute of that game. Here's Tom Thibodeau on the tough loss.
Yeah, just, tough way to lose a ball game. So we had a lead.
He
They played tougher with the lead.
This guy got hit with a
We fouled
sack
in a
of
situation
potatoes.
that we didn't want to foul in.
I mean, you want to talk about seeing the Grim Reaper?
The
I
end,
mean,
Maxie makes a
unbelievable.
big shot. So, we got
I'll
to do
tell
better.
you what, I'm going to do Tom a favor, all right? Just shave the front hair. Like, just get rid of that little patch, that little island that he's got going on. Do himself a favor. He's hanging on to dear life like I don't know what he's doing. Just get rid of it. Take out the Norelco and just get rid of it. I mean, do yourself.
Tom,
I mean,
he
come
actually he looks like he hasn't slept since the series started either, Joe. Right? Like he just hasn't had a night of sleep. He's just been working on trying to grind through this, and he's just he thought he probably was going to get a couple days rest after winning that game last night, and now he's back to the grind here until Thursday night.
And you see the problem with the Knicks it's the Knicks, right? So they get up 3-1. Everybody making a big stink about stomping on the 76ers logo and, where's the 76ers fans? And, now, we talk about the New York Knicks epitomizing the way USC was without Pete Carroll and Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. Where's Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell now when Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams couldn't win a big game for their life, right? Now all of a sudden you have Ben Stiller out, right? Everybody's out at the Knick game. It's the cool thing to do. Hey, let's bash the 76ers. I guarantee you're going to hear crickets after Philly wins Game 6 and we go back to the Garden for Game 7 and Thibodeau has a little sweat in his shorts.
Well, I'm going to say that to you here because this now sets up. You had Embiid do all that talking about how disappointed he was with the Sixer fans after Game 4, Knick fans taking over the building in Philadelphia. They get a huge win like that last night. Now going back there for a Game 6, you'd like to think, Joe, and look, if you're a Knick fan, you get tickets, you can get tickets. You know you can. There's many ways, Joe, to find yourself into these buildings, but you would like to think that the Sixer faithful, after what happened in Game 4 and Embiid talking about it, they are going to make an effort to know that they are there tomorrow night in that game. And, Joe, doesn't tip till 9 o'clock East, which is nuts in itself. And you know what I mean by that, Joe? That's extra time
to get
gas up, if you know what I mean, before they go in there. So that's got a chance to be a wild atmosphere in Philly tomorrow night for that game. And you think they win. You think the Sixers send it back to the Garden.
Yeah, I think I the beatdown. I think they win by 10 or more.
There really hasn't been a lot of that in this series, Joe. These games have been close late in the fourth quarter.
I understand that, but look at Thibodeau, the emotional drain. That's a lot of pressure on the Knicks. To have a 6-point lead with 28 seconds left and to not even lose it in terms of the field, you lost it on the line. So that pressure now is going to build in my opinion, in regards to unless they start fast and jump out to a 15, 16, 20-point lead in the first half, I think the 76ers dictate the tempo from start to finish. I think we just alt Embiid and Batum for 16 bounds, Embiid for 35 points. Yeah, I'm serious.
Batum might not play 16 minutes, Joe. You get it for 16 bounds? Come on.
16 bounds for Batum. It's going to be all Joel Embiid. All Joel. Maybe we sprinkle in a little Kelly Oubre. A little Kelly Oubre in my life.
Quickly sneak Maxey in talking about his big night before we move on. Here's Tyrese Maxey.
Going through my mind right there was just find a way to survive.
Gotta love that guy.
Season's on the line.
You put money in my pocket. I love you, Tyrese Maxey.
I trust my work. I trust what I've done all my life.
Got ice in his veins.
Just try to get to a spot and raise up and knock a shot down.
That's it. Stone Cold Killer like Joey Silk.
That was, and look, Embiid obviously had an off night, Joe. It was not Embiid's night, and Maxey picked up the slack in a very big way for Philly. That is going to be a fun Game 6 tomorrow night. And Oh, yeah, wow, we're going to be on for the first half, right? The first half we'll be on doing the radio show during that.
You might be
right,
into
we'll
the
come
hockey.
Might be into the hockey. We'll start Golf Wednesday with Brady and Blitz next on Coast to Coast.
The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back from coast to coast here on a Wednesday, a golf Wednesday on C2C. Carver High in for Scotty, of course, here on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. And it is a golf Wednesday, and it is a back-to-back LIV Golf Wednesday on C2C, as Brady Cannon is with me, as always, before this week's LIV Golf event. I like that they're doing back-to-back. They were in Australia last week for Adelaide. Now we are headed to Singapore this week, Brady, to the Sentosa Golf Club, the Serapong, the course that they are playing at. And you know what, Brady? I liked it last week because and we talked about this a little. I was able to tune in a little late night. For me on the East Coast, it was a little later than you, obviously, and I was able to probably watch 7 or 8 holes before I fell asleep. But it was good to see some of it late night on Friday and Saturday night watching it. I loved it.
Yeah, when these guys play across the date line, it works out pretty well. 6:30 p.m. or so for me out here in the West. And, they'll start a day ahead of time. Obviously, they start on Friday locally, but over here in the States, that's Thursday night for you and me. So, yeah, we're watching hockey, basketball, baseball, all that good stuff, and a little LIV golf as well. I tell you, Mike, I got to give you credit. You've inspired me to handicap this stuff, and I'm having some fun with it. Of course, we hit Burmester to start the year. You and I were talking off air. I jumped on Brandon Steele last week in game before the final round and was able to get that one home. Let's see if we can get another pre-tournament outright this week.
We are looking for another one this week. That would be good. And for these guys in LIV, Brady, this is also the last competitive chance for them, the guys who are at least going to be in the PGA Championship in a couple of weeks at Valhalla. So something else to keep in mind as we head here to Sentosa. Last week, I thought you did a great job comparing the Adelaide course to some stuff on the PGA Tour. Do you have that for me again this week with this Singapore course? Is there any courses this reminds you of that these guys are going to be playing at this week?
I tell you what, Mike, you're reading my mind. I couldn't believe it when I started handicapping this golf course. And, admittedly, I don't know much about Sentosa or Adelaide, and you just have to do the research and see what you can find. I found out that this is a fantastic property. It's been ranked like as high as the best golf course in the world type of deal. All kinds of water. Looks like a tremendous setting there that these guys are really going to enjoy. And this has been a mainstay on the European Tour for many, many years. The Singapore Open has been played a number of times at this golf course. And we've seen guys, some big name players, win that Singapore Open at this golf course. Ian Poulter, Sergio Garcia, Adam Scott, and then also Matt Kuchar. And I was like, okay, what do those names say to me? And I immediately thought ball striker, accurate off the tee, greens in regulation, strokes gained tee to green, that I think that's the type of player. And then I looked at those names again and I went, Sergio, Adam Scott, Kuchar, Poulter, what do they all have in common? They are all money at the Players' Championship, TPC Sawgrass. Adam Scott, Sergio, Matt Kuchar have all won it. Ian Poulter's played the Players' Championship 18 times. He's made the cut 14 times, and he's finished runner-up twice. So I'm like, okay, the ball striker thing makes sense because that absolutely plays at TPC Sawgrass, another course with a lot of water, driving accuracy. So that's kind of where I started with my handicap. I couldn't believe it. It's just like it all of a sudden came at me. I'm seeing these names, Kuchar, Scott, Sergio. I'm like, it's the players all over again.
And Sergio lost in a playoff here last year. Sergio's lost a lot of playoffs on the LIV Tour.
Yes,
he lost a playoff to Taylor Gooch here a year ago. So maybe Sergio will be in the mix again. I know he's 22-1 this week. Of course, we know the chalk. The chalk's kind of the same every week with LIV. It's Rahm, it's Joaquin Niemann, it's Bryson DeChambeau, Tyrrell Hatton, and Cameron Smith. Here is where I am going to go for you, Brady, this week with my outrights. It's almost Valhalla time. That means for me, it's Brooks dial-in time. Brooks finished in the top 5 here last year, right before the PGA Championship. I expect another big performance from him. 14-1 for Brooks Koepka. We have got Taylor Gooch, just kind of like last week, Brady. I like playing guys who have past course history. Liv's going here for the second time. We'll go with Gooch again at 14. I thought Patrick Reed played well last week. I'm a Patrick Reed guy. I know most people don't like him, but 26-1 for Patrick Reed. And Harold Varner will be the big bomb for me this week. Good ball striker, like you said, and played well here last year, a top 10 at Singapore. I always like to have one big bomb in the mix, Brady.
Well, I think 3 out of your 4 guys there absolutely fit the ball striker mold. Patrick Reed, probably the only one that relies more on a short game and that type of thing. But like you say, the form has started to come around for him. Played pretty well at the Masters as well. So I can't argue with that as well. And I like your analysis there on Koepka. He hasn't been in great form, and I didn't land on him this week. But you're right. The switch has got to be flipped here pretty soon.
What do we got here, Brady? Give me your outrights for Singapore.
Well, I took Paul Casey at 38-1. We know this guy is a premier ball striker, still is in the world today. His last 2 appearances at the Players' Championship finished 3rd and 5th. And then I went with Cameron Smith. I went pretty chalky outside of Paul Casey at 38. I went with more of the guys towards the top of the board. Cameron Smith, just under 20-1. He's won the Players' Championship and also finished 17th. And I thought I saw that form kind of show up not only at the Masters, but again last week in Australia in his home country. I went with DeChambeau. We know he's huge off the tee. He is a ball striker. He's finished top 10 in 4 out of the 6 LIV events this season. Got him at 12-1. And then finally, I went almost, I guess, to the very top. I took Jon Rahm, Mike. I mean, this guy has finished top 10 in every LIV event this year. He's got to turn one into a victory, I believe, very soon. I think he was still kind of getting used to the rock and roll and the loud and, golf but louder and let's wear shorts and all that good stuff. This is a hard golf course. Jon Rahm should have won the Players' Championship in 2019, but he melted on the back 9. He's finished 9th and 12th at TPC Sawgrass. We know he's one of the best players in the world still. Ball striking, short game, you name it. So Jon Rahm, Cam Smith, Paul Casey, and DeChambeau for me this week.
Brady, I like it. In fact, I think we just start tailing Rahm now because it's been 4 or 5 live events and he hasn't won yet. He's the favorite every week. You know he's cracking through. One of these weeks on live, he's going to end up winning. Brady, tremendous job.
Let's hope it's this one.
Live Singapore. This week, I'm tailing you, Brady. Brady Cannon with us. We're back after this.
The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Of course, this week we are getting you ready for Saturday, the 150th Run of the Roses, of course, the Kentucky Derby. And Dave Aragona is with us from the Daily Racing Form today to help us continue the card together for this weekend. Dave, good to see you. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us here on Coast to Coast today. All right, we had the one horse get scratched yesterday. We had a new horse move in. I look at the odds every morning to see where we're moving a little bit here. It still seems to me like we have these two horses at the top, Fierceness and Sierra Leone. These are the two right now, right, David? It's not going to budge off of these. Are you going anywhere beyond these two, or do you think that nobody's going near them?
Yeah, they're expected to be the two likely favorites, sort of separating themselves from the pack in the wagering. Fierceness, really talented. I think if he shows up, he's probably going to win the race, but he can be a little unreliable. Sierra Leone, more reliable, but he's got to pass all these horses. He's a deep closer who comes from the back of the pack. I'm looking at a couple of alternatives. One of them is the number 7, Honor Marie, who's 20-1 on the morning line. Just seems like a horse that's really cycling up to his best effort coming into the Derby. Another horse that comes from towards the back, like Sierra Leone, but going to be a much better price. And the horse that I made my top pick is actually the Japanese Invader, the number 11, Forever Young. He's never lost before. He's run in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, in Japan, making his first start in the United States. But I think this horse has a lot of attributes that are going to lend itself well to success in the Kentucky Derby.
All right, I have now checked that one off. Forever Young, when I hear has never lost a race before, David, that always has me thinking we have to put a little bit of something on that one. What I also like about the Derby every year is, yes, we have our favorites at the top, but you have a lot of horses in that 20 to 30 1 range. We've seen some big hits over the last couple of years. I want to ask you about one only because my partner Joe has been talking about this horse all week. So now I need to get your opinion on it, and that is Catalytic, who's got Ortiz on him at the number 5 horse. Give me a little something about Catalytic, because my boy Joe got a shot with him.
Well, Catalytic in his most recent race lost to Fierceness, the favorite, by 13 lengths. So that's a pretty wide margin. He's got a lot to make up on that horse. I think the good news with Catalytic is he's only run 3 times, and he's improved with every start. So he does have some upside heading into the race. He needs another big step forward, but at a big price, you could do worse because he does have that ability to take another step in the right direction.
The next one, the 4 horse, Catching Freedom, seems to also be right on that kind of tier behind the 2 favorites. Tell me a little bit about the 4.
Yeah, he's one that I definitely have some interest in as well. I mentioned liking the number 7, Honor Marie. Well, Catching Freedom actually beat him in his final prep race for the Derby down in Louisiana. Kid made a big late run to go from last to first in that race. He's another one that seems to be cycling up to one of his better efforts in the Kentucky Derby, and he's got some of the top connections in the sport in his corner in trainer Brad Cox and Flavian Pratt, who seems to ride close to a winning race in the Kentucky Derby just about every year.
I know the big trainers and the big jockeys. Whenever I'm scanning every year, and that's when I'm one of the guys, I'm like most people, I'm jumping in when the Triple Crown comes around, and there's always jockey and trainer combinations that stick out to me. So when I see Junior Alvarado and Watt and Mott together on a horse, the 19 Resilience, that also sticks out to me.
Yeah, he's drawn a very wide post position, so he's got to avoid losing too much ground around both turns in the Derby, breaking from now it's going to be post 18 with that scratch. But he's coming off a victory in the New York prep race, the Wood Memorial. That was his best effort to date so far, so he's definitely heading into the race looking like he's doing well.
Now, everybody gets in on the Derby, as we know, but there are a lot of other huge races, David, that are going to go on down at Churchill Downs over these next couple of days, specifically Friday and Saturday. And Friday is the Kentucky Oaks. I have not gotten to look at this one yet. Please tell me, who are you starting to look at in the Oaks, the big race on Friday?
Yeah, the Oaks is definitely a more wide-open race than the Derby. It doesn't have those clearly defined favorites. There are about 5 horses that could vie for favoritism in that race. It's going to be interesting to see how the wagering actually plays out. I'm interested in a couple of long shots. The number 12, Power Squeeze, who comes from towards the back of the pack. She's won 4 races in a row heading into the Kentucky Oaks, yet still seems to be flying under the radar. And the number 3, Where's My Ring? She's my top pick. She's 15-1 on the morning line, coming off a prep race where she won the Gazelle. You mentioned Resilience, that Derby horse. She actually ran almost the same time as him on the same card. So coming in with a fast recent race, and I think she's going to outrun her odds breaking from an inside post position.
All right, so we'll have to put those with the double the next day with those 2 favorites in the Derby. That's how we'll at least start our card for this week. David, tremendous job here. Daily Racing Forward, David Aragona. As we get ready, the Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Rose is coming up on Saturday. We're back coast to coast on the grid right after this.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So what are your impressions of Valhalla, just for folks that have not seen it on TV or didn't watch the Ryder Cups or past majors? You know, they see a PGA maybe at a Southern Hills or a Bet Page or, whatever it may be, and they're like, Valhalla, and Louisville, Kentucky, but like look at the tournaments produced, and it's insane. It really has, and obviously, of course, I'm biased toward it.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access. Only on SportsGrid.